Hi everyone. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna pause this. Pause. Okay, close the. Oh no, I did the wrong thing. All right. I was running late, and now I'm like unable to do things I normally know how to do. Aging. I blame everything on being old now. Okay, so audio and video check really quickly. Make sure that you guys can see and hear. And excuse me for the coughing. I just did a breathing treatment. I was actually rushing through it really quickly so that I would be able to sustain all the talking. Can see and hear. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Laura and Xandra. It looks like we've got quite a few people in here. So I will really quickly. Hi, Linda. Hi, Xandra. Hi, Laura. Hi, Elon. Gina. That's everyone, I think. I think I got everybody. I got it. And Mary. Linda, I think I told you already that I got your package. And Mary, I got your package in the mail today, actually. Orange is Mary, so you know. Goodness. I absolutely love the stuff that was in both packages. Now I have all these new watercolors to play with. So I'm going to show you really quickly. Not bragging or anything, you know, like that. Just want to share the things that I received. Linda sent me, and I'm pretty sure... let me move my piles. OMG, I have all these piles, and I just moved in here, but I have all these piles already. Here, I found it finally. So this is the palette. Linda sent me this palette not long ago. Oh, the lighting is like, what's up with that? Let me see if I can make it a little better. How's that? Anyway, you wouldn't think I had all these lights on, but I do. Anyway, she sent me this palette, and I loved it. And although I still wonder about these two. So like, this one is supposed to be green, and this one is supposed to be gray. And I'm telling you, I really think they like got it backwards. Anyway, but when you actually look at the colors that they put here, it kind of starts to make more sense because they do, although the lighting is really okay. Hold on, let me try to fix it. Does that help any at all? It's like blowing out in one area and not light enough in another. I don't know. Anyway, when you look at it here, it makes sense because they do both have like a hint of green to them. So anyway, I don't know. I love them though. And so Linda was like, well, if you love them, I don't love them as much. So she sent me the tubes too. So I'm like so thrilled with that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And she also sent me painted tissue papers. I'm guessing I have this correctly, with watered down acrylic, I think you said. These are absolutely awesome. Whoops. I went through and like folded them all neatly and played with them. I'm definitely going to, I did go and visit the artist's YouTube that you were referencing, you know, that where this came, the idea or whatever came from. I loved it. I loved what she made, and I definitely want to try that at some point. Probably not tonight. Well, definitely not tonight, but at some point I would like to try that. We can try it maybe together, and I can share the artist link in advance so everyone else can see what we're doing. And if you have tissue paper, you can pre-paint some. That would be really fun, and we'll try out that artist technique, which I think would be fun to do as like a group, little group challenge or something. All right, and then as well, Mary sent me some watercolors. We were talking, I think, on the last stream. I don't know if it was the public stream or if it was the private Patreon stream. And I missed Mary at the very end of it. I had to go back and look. She had said, hey, I've got some of that bronze and I'll send you some. And I didn't catch it, but then she messaged me and I was thrilled. And she also sent me, and I didn't read the note. Oops. I have a little bowl of water here and I keep moving it around the desk instead of going and dumping it out. I did it so that I could do some packing tape transfers today. Yeah, they shouldn't bleed. That's an awesome, way to fix that issue, right? Although a lot of the times, for me anyway, most of the tissue paper I get doesn't bleed. And I've actually had to go out of my way to try to find some that will when trying to do a technique that where you wanted it to bleed. But yeah, and I really just like the idea of being able to create with the acrylic paint colors that I have, that I want to use. Do you know what I mean? And tissue paper, like, it doesn't really come, at least not unless you like find some specialty paper or something. It doesn't come, it just comes in like primary colors and pastel colors. So to be able to make the colors that I actually want to use, from my own paints, that's, a really great idea. I'm trying to find your note here because I think you said in your note, okay, so Bronzite Genuine, which is a Holbein. And then this one I really thought was beautiful too, which is a Red Fuchsite Genuine. And then the turquoise blue, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I actually used all of them on this girl right here, which I don't know if that you can really tell, but her eyes are turquoise. The lighting is just, what a mess. Anyway, yeah, I just quickly like drew her. Her hair has the bronze, her lips have the red, and her eyes have the turquoise. The shirt is blouse or whatever is actually marker, so ignore that. But I'll try these out really quickly on camera. And then look at these. I've never seen these super teeny ones. They are just adorable. Those are the cutest things ever. So thank you so much for sending me that. And because people are just wonderful and generous, right? She actually also included a Daphne's Diary. Now, to be honest with you, I have never even seen one of these. I'm not that big on going into like craft stores or places to get magazines. And when I'm in a bookstore, the magazine is not where I'm going. I'm definitely in the book area. So I don't really often see these types of magazines. So it was really fun to look through it. And it came with this tissue paper that I believe makes this kite. I'm actually probably seriously considering making this kite with my grandchildren. Just because it would give them something fun to try to do. And hopefully we don't rip it. But even if we do, I'll probably use the paper later or something. But I thought it was really fun to look through this. The very beginning, like this is, this is beautiful. I love this. So very inspirational. I thought it was really fun. And she also included these faces that she made. And they are, according to her note, exactly symmetrical, because she did one side and then flipped to get two perfect sides. And I find that very interesting because they tell you all the time that perfectly symmetrical faces are like the most beautiful, or what you're the most drawn to. And I know I'm weird. That's my tagline, weird but beautiful. So I actually find faces that are not symmetrical, faces that are asymmetrical, to be far more interesting. But I loved seeing these, and I'm using these in my journal, right? I know you know that, Mary. So these are going to go into my journal. She sent me a couple of others, which I thought was really cute. That these are from another artist. This is an artist that I used to know very well. At least, yeah, both are. These are both, oh my gosh, Courtney. I almost said Carmen. Courtney Diaz. And then she also included these collage. I think it feels almost It says lightweight paper. It almost feels like tissue paper, not quite, but very close. And yeah, all of these are very colorful, so definitely things I would use. So I look forward to using some of this stuff in a future, you know, in our journal pages, but probably showcase a few of these things in a lesson or stream. So thank you so much. It's always super fun to, you know, trade and share and get interesting new things, especially unexpected little things too, like these tiny little, these are the cutest things ever. I might give these to Madison just because they're so tiny. She's going to lose her mind about them. Anyway, I know she will. But yeah, so I have been creating, even though I got really sick. On the last stream that I did, I distinctly remember saying to you guys, oh, my microphone's all weird. Hold on, this might be loud. Yeesh, I don't know if you can hear that or not. I try not to ever touch the microphone, but it was turned all funny. Probably one of the cats. I cannot keep them off my desk. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Because they have most definitely been laying in wet paint multiple times now and knocking everything off, which is driving me a little bit crazy. Also, the camera doesn't appear to be where or how it needs to be. Sorry about that. Anyway, I remember distinctly saying that I felt like I was getting sick. Sure enough, I absolutely was. By that night and the next morning, I was really sick, and it was the same thing as before. The common cold. It's rhinovirus is what they call it, but it's literally just the common cold. And for, you know, you can come around me with like pneumonia and stuff and I won't get it. But if you come around me with the common cold, I'm going to get it and it's going to devastate me. I was actually talking, because that's what I initially had when, oh, hi, Darlene. That's what I initially had when I was hospitalized this last time. But it turned out I also had this like weird rare yeast infection in my lungs, which is strange, but not too strange. I know we figured out how and why, and it has to do with, again, oregano oil is powerful, and it is medicine, and you need to treat it as such and not take it all the time, because you can mess up your insides, mess up your good bacteria levels, and then yeast can run wild if you get sick and take antibiotics. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, but we were talking about it because, you know, they come in and they have everyone come in and talk to you. Do you need a, what was it she was called again? I've already forgotten. Occupational. Do you need occupational therapy? Do you need physical therapy? You know, they come in and check on that before you're released from the hospital. And we were talking about it, and she has the same exact problem. And she said that she has met, especially more recently, other people who are also having the same problem. And you know, when I was young, when I was a kid and a young adult, I didn't have a problem with I got a cold like everybody else and I got better. But she said that she too has the same issue with that particular whatever virus, whatever the cold is. I don't know what it is. I don't care. I don't have it anymore, and I wear my mask now whenever I'm around anyone, including my grandchildren, that I think might possibly be sick. I'm like, oop, let me get my mask, because I'm done with going, you know, getting that sick and going to the hospital. But luckily this time I got better really quickly, and I think it's probably because I had just been sick, so I had antibiotics right away, and I'm still taking the yeast medication. I'm still on the diet, so I think that's why I got better really quickly. But I overcame it really fast. I mean, for me anyway. I didn't have to go to the hospital, I'll put it to you that way. What else? I think that's it. But I have been creating. I've been trying to do like the last little bits in the Scrappy journal. I want to make another Scrappy journal. If you guys are up for that, let me know. And I can do that on a stream, because I really want another one. And this one is pretty much done. I tried to use some more of my little bling in places, and just look for areas to fill in, whether that be journaling or adding imagery. I did quite a bit of that stuff. I did do some like funny ones, which I mean, you guys might not get it, but I thought this was really funny. because he's, okay, I'll have to explain it, because of course you have to explain it, right? So this is like earth, water, spirit, air, fire, right? And he's sitting on rose toilet water, and he, yeah, anyway, I thought it was funny. So is there anything else? Oops. And it looks like I've added some stuff that's a little sticky. Oh, this had wet glue, and I've used some more little bits. This is a yeah, what are those birds? Starts with a P. It's not a penguin, and that's all my brain can tell me. Anyway, it's not a parakeet. Oh my gosh, what is it? Okay, you know what it is. Someone tell me in the comments. Anyway, it's one of their feathers that a lady, an artist friend who raised these kinds of birds that my brain can't think of, sent me a bunch of their feathers, usually the feathers that like fell off or that she had to cut. I think there was a reason why she had to cut their feathers sometimes. I don't remember. Anyway, I drew some fruit or some more, what do we call them again? What was it we were calling them? Fantasy fruit? Is that what we were calling them? Sci-fi fruit? I can't remember. Anyway. And this journal really is, I mean, I'm going to say it's almost done. I'll do a quick flip. Everybody's, oh, peacock. Yes. Thank you, Laura. Oh my gosh, my brain. I don't know if it's stress, aging, combination of the two, or I'm just, you know, always, I've always been very flighty sort of in my head. Like, they used to call me Ditzy Christie when I was a kid. In fact, they did, I don't know, I was still ditzy. I've always been, we'll just be like, just be for real, okay? I've always been ditzy, but anyway. Okay, so we'll do a quick flip. And I, again, used some more little, wait, you can't see the whole thing. What am I doing? Okay, there we go. I went in and used more little tchotchke things anywhere that I could, trying to get rid of it, because I still have 4 large, bigger than the screen, plastic bins to go through of tchotchke stuff. So it's anything like me, it's aging, right? Yeah, I'm getting old. You know, it's so funny. I do not feel as old as I am. I don't look as old as I am, but I don't feel as old as I am. And I get like weirded out sometimes when I realize, like, I'll be talking to someone and they'll, especially men for some reason, I don't know why, but I'll be talking to men and they'll tell me that they're the same age as me, and I'm like, really? You look old. I mean, I don't say that out loud, but I'm like, you look old. I'm that old? I go look in the mirror and I'm like, yep, you're that old. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I love it. I love being old. I do not care. I am happy. I am enjoying my elderly years, whatever you want to call it. And I don't intend to, stop being happy. I don't, like, it feels more freeing to me. Sorry, but it does. Like, I just say what I want now. You know what I mean? I laugh at just about everything. I got an absolute kick tonight. An absolute kick out of one of the things that Trump did. Let me read it. I actually posted on Instagram, which, you know, like, I'm trying not to use any of their products anymore, but it's really difficult. I definitely don't I'm definitely not posting my art on anybody's products other than Kara, because no AI, none of that. And here's the thing, don't get me wrong, I am not against AI. AI in the respect of the way non-Western countries, I'll be vague, we all know who I'm talking about, how they are using AI, how they are implementing it, how they are treating it, making it open source. I'm here for that. Like, I am so here for that. The way that Western countries are doing it, give me a break. Like, y'all gonna just control everything we do? I mean, come on. Anyway, don't get me started. But let me go to my Instagram, because I about fell out of my chair laughing when I saw this. Breaking news. Trump has signed an executive order requiring that whenever an agency promulgates a new rule, regulation, or guidance, it must identify at least 10 existing rules, regulations, or guidance documents to be repealed. And I'm like, I have so many questions. Dude, does it even have to pertain to the agency that, like within the purview of that agency? So, for instance, if if I'm working for the Department of Housing, HUD, and I want to make a new rule or a new law, can I go find 10 rules or laws that pertain to, say, for instance, the IRS, and say I want the, and also too, does it automatically get repealed because I listed it, or do they weigh the 10 versus my 1? Because I'm probably going to lose most of the time. And frankly, if this is the way we're going to do with government now, I'm freaking running for an agency position or an office because, hey, I'm all for anarchy. And this sounds a whole lot like anarchy to me. Anyway, just you have to keep your sense of humor during all this. If y'all aren't keeping your sense of humor, hang out with me more, because the ride is going to get really wild. And I know we can't have our sense of humor per se directly about some of the really bad things. Like, what are you deporting workers for? They're workers. Don't you want workers? Why deport workers? Why don't you deport some of these swamp creatures? That would be a good idea. No, yeah. So we can't keep our sense of humor per se about some of these things, but some of this stuff is hilarious. I mean, they're going after each other. They're infighting. They're going after our allies. The whole thing is just like, and let it crash and burn. That's my view. Let it crash and burn, because we can 100% absolutely build a better country. We definitely can. So let it burn. Anyway, I added this. Again, I think my outlook, my view is, the silliness is really starting to leach into my art, especially where like collage and stuff is concerned. Although I've always, liked odd stuff. Here's another penguin, or whatever, no, peacock. Here's another peacock feather. Oh, here's another one too. So yeah, I've been having fun. I actually already had, this is one of my stencils that I love so much. I did release that, didn't I, at some point? I can't remember. And I ran across, this is actually a Christmas, I can't get it to, there we go, a little Christmas deer. And so then I just started adding tchotchkes to the page, for, just for fun. And I don't know what type of feather, what type of bird this feather, do I have that package of feathers somewhere? Yeah, hold on. No, that's not it. I really have stuff stacked everywhere, and it's embarrassing and annoying. I hate having stacks. It just tells me that I do not have this room organized correctly at all yet. Okay, so here is one, if I don't ruin it. I don't know what bird this is. This feather is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it. And see, here's all the other ones. She sent me big ones too. I did have those up, but the cats kept trying to eat them. So I put them on the wall in my old studio, and I haven't finished getting, all of the things off the walls. But she also gave me a collection of tiny ones, which I love because, and obviously she was an art journal artist, so she gets it. These are great for, being able to put in your journal. But anyway, so I added this fleur de lis because I have so much of it. I put a bird on a body because of course I did. I don't remember if I showed you. I added that little thing, and a couple of really cute quotes that I thought, these are actually like quotes that someone was saying for like talking about their own life. But I liked it, and I thought it fit me too, especially when it came to things, in my opinion, like I was thinking specifically about like Linda and Mary sending me the little things that they were sending me. I always feel like that is you guys taking care of me, you know what I mean? Raising me almost like my little artist me, and educating me in exchange for, the art stuff that we do. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, I thought so too. I have a bunch of them that I cut out I want to say it was from Bizarre magazine, and it's definitely getting bizarre. Um, this one I just added the little hooks and eyes thing. I think where I talked about that already. This was I don't even think this was from this most recent one. Maybe it was, but anyway, I do this a lot where if you guys send me any kind of little notes and things, they always make their way into my journal at some point. This was my hospital art, my other hospital art, and I do want to do a little bit of journaling. There's a couple pages that I feel like I want to do journaling on, so I want to do a little journaling on here. I have really battled with my thoughts on this because I feel like these three actually really clash with each other. But there's also a part of me that really likes that you know that they're doing that there together. So I keep thinking I'm going to do something, and then with this page, and then I'm like, no, I think I'm going to leave it. I did add my little hospital tag. Let's see what else. Oh, had to put a giraffe on here. I didn't do anything with that. I was definitely playing around with this. This was where I was playing, I think, with the watercolors that Linda had sent me. I just had to get them back out and play with them some more. I added the sci-fi thing here. I don't know. It doesn't look as good to me now that I have it down. It looked, I don't understand why, but it looked better that night. But I don't think I'm going to do anything with it, though, because I still really like it all there. And I finally went through and got Aleene's and glued all of these cute little jewels or whatever they're supposed to be, the little bling, glued them all down. So they'll stop falling off. This is the last page that I feel like I need to do something on. And I'm just, every time I flip the journal, I'm like, I want to, but I don't know what yet I'm going to do. So I keep waiting. But this is the last page that I'm going to do anything with in here, I believe. This was already all like this. This was the one we were just looking at. So yeah, I think I flipped through all the rest, right? Yep. Okay, so that is it for this Scrappy journal, which means I have just that one little bit left to do. And then I need a new one because I cannot live without having a Scrappy journal at all times. Just one, but I need to have one that I can play with. Next is what I'm going to be working on for the Patreon part of the stream. Let's see. I pulled out, I was going through magazines for a variety of different reasons, mainly because I wanted to get rid of some of these magazines. So generally, I just go through, rip out everything I like, and then I can get rid of the magazine. Sometimes I save them to use them to like glue on and stuff, but I have so many, it's obnoxious. And even the kids can't go through them all because like Madison and Logan will come in and they'll sit down and they'll get like markers, glue stick, scissors, and they'll sit there and go through the magazines and work on pages, you know, just like flipping and just adding this or doing something to it. It's really fun to watch them do that. And sometimes it's so creative. I love to see what they come up with. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. I love Scrappy journals. They're one of my most favorite things. Who am I kidding? All journaling is my favorite thing. Anyway, so I've never really been able to like properly wrap my brain around the concept of a mood board. You know, like, I just make an art journal page. Okay, mood board 6, accomplished. Next page, new mood board. In a way. But I was like, I do have way too much white wall space in here still. And I'm like, maybe I should put just some stuff up for inspiration. And as I was pulling through those magazine pages, I ran across this. And I've always found this, it's just an advertisement for a group art expedition. So this is some art, a particular artist's art. Anyway, I love this. And I'm pretty sure this was done digitally. And so it's kind of feels like, it seems like it should be weird that it's digital and yet it looks like it's painted. And I don't know, there's something about it. I just super love it. but it's definitely digital. And I used to do a lot of digital art, and I don't really anymore. And it's not that I want to go back to it, but this actually makes me want to get out my paints and paint, which is so funny. So I decided I was going to try to do like a mood board. So I started going through and pulling other things as I was looking through all of my Emfrema. And I love this, and I realized when I was looking at this that one of the reasons I love it is because I remember using this piece. And oh, hi Sherry, sorry I didn't see you and say hi right away. And then I think there's another one too like that. Hang on. Maybe not. I can't remember now. Maybe not. Maybe it was just that one. Oh, well, and then this head right here, which, remember that guy that was in my Scrappy journal? As soon as I looked through this, I was like, oh, that reminds me of what I just did in the Scrappy journal. But anyway, so I really like this. I'm really inspired by putting what feels like it might be a sun or a planet or a halo behind or in front of people. So I pulled that out, and then this reminds me of how I do the girls' faces, and then on the shirt I'll incorporate either another face or a scene of some kind. In fact, some of my journal pages I've actually like painted a whole like scene in the hair or in the shirt of someone. So I liked that. So I pulled that out, and then I was just going through these, and I was like, wow, some of these are really inspiring to me. Now what these are single sheet magazine page. Well, I just think of them as magazine pages, but what I do is just pull out a sturdy, yeah, so this would have been the original, whatever was originally on this magazine image. I'll just pull a page out of a magazine, and then I just start collaging and painting on it. And these really are some of my most favorite pages to work on, and also just to go back and look at. And I do enjoy every time I run across, because they were in a folder with my Emfrema, and every time I grab that folder out thinking that it's collage stuff, I never fails, I look through it every time, because I really love I love these pages. So I thought I would go ahead and put these up with my mood board as well. And so like some of them are so cute. Like I was born in this year, and so when I saw it was just a sticker with 968 or a piece of magazine paper or something, and I was like, oh, 1968, born on date, you know, like they do with like alcohol and stuff. They have that born on date, which is the dorkiest thing in the world. But anyway, so yeah, and I think I was very inspirational, trying to be inspirational when I was making these, or trying to make a kind of let me find one. This one was more inspirational. That one was kind of not nice. I must have been grumpy because it says need a brain, don't you? Who knows where I was coming from. This one I was like, stand up. The whole world is waiting for you to stand up. Like in other words, get up. And this one was about bullying. Anyway, so I love these. I'm just gonna cat hair. I'm just gonna pick a side, and I'm going to make a little mood board, and I want to put more things and, you know, display it on the wall. And I want to put more things that are not made by me, but that, you know, either reflect things that I really love doing in my art, or inspire me to want to do things like, you know, paint more portraits instead of just drawing and, you know, mixed media. So anyway, this just got shoved in there. Has nothing to do with it. Nothing whatsoever. Ignore it. Okay, so there we are. Now, I'm not going to work on this. Uh-oh, what happened to my, oh no. I had a, dagnabbit, where'd it go? I had a packing tape transfer that I'd already cleaned off. So it was partially sticky, and either me or the cats have moved it, and I don't know where it's gone, and it'll get stuck to something, and then I won't be able to use it. It was laying I could have swore right on top of this upside down, and it's not here now. This was just more stuff I cut out, and these were little I don't know what you call them, little abstract sort of collages that I was making there for a while, just for myself, just to play around. And I got them out thinking maybe I could attach them to journal pages or something so that they're not just laying around. This is for what I'm going to be working on next. I don't know if I did anything in here. What's that? This might be a letter from Linda or something. Yeah, this is a letter from Linda. And yeah, I don't think I've done anything in here. I have to have a conversation with Madison. She was in here working in my journal the other day. She did this where she wrote orange and showed how to shade it like she was. I mean, she's in art school now, so I won't be surprised when she's in here instructing me soon. But she was doing these eyeballs. Oops, you can't see it, sorry. She was doing these eyeballs, and for some reason, she cut through my journal, like all the way through. You don't see it? So I left her a note asking her why she cut straight through, and, you know, is everything okay? Like, why are you cutting straight through my journal? This was something I painted years ago. I just, again, found it when I was going through everything, so I'm going to put it in my journal. Okay, now I'm going to be rude and walk away for a second, because I want to see if I maybe made that fall off under the desk. I'm going to cry because I love that quote, and I worked hard to make it. Or at least to do the transfer. Holy cow, I've lost it. No. Cool world. Yeah, I don't see it here anywhere. And I was definitely in here like flopping stuff around and, you know what I mean? Flinging things and moving stuff around. So it's very likely it was me. I'm not going to cry. I'm a grown-up. This is what we're going to work on or work with on the Patreon stream tonight. I'm just looking to see. No, it's not in here. Plenty of my mom's cat hair is in here. Well, dagnabbit. I have nothing nice to say to myself because I know it was probably me. I will search around when I'm on the little break that we're going to do between streams and see if I can find it. I loved the quote. It was hilarious. It was kind of a funny-ish sort of one. I'm just looking around really quick to make sure it's not here somewhere before I give up on it. All right, I'm just going to give up. Okay, what we are going to work on is a couple of things. I have not worked in this journal. Can you tell I'm still looking for it because I'm like upset now? Anyway, let it go. Gotta let things go, Christy. I every once in a while, I see people say things about art journaling that they're not wrong, but they're not right. And they say it with a lot of authority, and it kind of gets under my skin, so to speak, because personal choices and well-informed choices can be made that and should be made that are separate from opinion, right? So oftentimes, and I know I've done this video, I've done this like tip or trick or instruction before, so this is not the first time this has come up for me. But I just ran across it again, and it was someone who was basically saying, this is the best white pen. All other white pens you shouldn't use. And I'm like, and they did eventually say, you know, like, it's their opinion in the end, but like, and again, it was a video titled Beginners. Stop telling beginners things that are not true. You know what I mean? There is no bad white pen. There is no perfect white pen. And all of these white pens have their own, just like humans, just like animals, just like anything, they have their own pros and cons, their own goods and bads, their own positives and negatives, if you want to look at it that way. So in order to combat all this misinformation, I'll call it, I'm being facetious here. I wrote out, and I'm going to show you, let me grab my pens. I'm going to show you the pens that I'm talking about, because these are always the pens that come up. The Uniball Signo, the Sakura, is that how you say it? Excuse me, Jelly Roll, and the Uniposca Fine Point. So it's this one, right? Each one of these is different for different reasons. I have all three of them. I love all three of them for very specific reasons. Yes, they are all white pens. Any one of them will do if you don't have any others, or if you're new and you just want a white pen, you buy any of them. But they all have their own sort of character and little things about them that are worth having all three, depending on the type of work you do. So if you do mixed media and you use any water-based products, you really probably want all three. And here's what I'm going to show you why. So as I wrote here, our journal myths about white pens. Uniball Signo is nice and bright white. It is water soluble, so it will react to wet medium even when fully dry. Okay? So if you are someone who comes back in and paints over it, and you've already used white pen and you've used this Uniball Signo, you need to know that's what's going to happen, right? It's not a bad thing. I use that to my advantage a lot. I love it for that very purpose. I will, in fact, do it in a, when it's kind of like ever so slightly wet still, to get like a really runny, teary, sort of almost like you're looking at writing through water sort of look. The white jelly roll from Sakura goes down faint but dries nice and bright white. This pen does dry permanent and will not easily react to wet mediums. So even though I'm getting it wet, now this is over top of acrylic paint, and again, the most important thing you can do for yourself as an artist is know the mediums you're working with, know what they will do. If I had written this over top of just plain paper, it wouldn't, even lighten. When it dries, it will still be there. When this dries, as it's already pretty much dry, it's not there anymore. Two completely different pens with different purposes or properties. Both are very much worthy of being in your tool bag, art bag, because you can use them in different ways. So if I want to, say for instance, add a bunch of highlights to a drawing or a face or something, and I don't want them to wash away when I add, say, watercolor over top of it, I'm going to use this one. If I want a white bit that I can add a drop of water to and get it to sort of pool out and do really cool things, I might want to use this one. If I want to journal and I want to make it so that you can't really read it, I'm definitely going to use this one. If I want to be sure to be able to read it later, I'm going to choose this one, right? And then finally we have the Uniposca. This is probably, I love all three of these. This would, if someone said you can only have one, it would be this one. This one as well, I think, let me see if I can read what I wrote. Uniposca is water soluble. It goes down a nice bright white, and the nib gives you a wonderful bit of spatter. And I do have, let me turn autofocus on just for this moment, just so I can be a nerd as I am often, always, most of the time, and show you if it will, if my oh wait, I can't see what I'm doing. I left the little tiny window open. Can it, come on, yeah, see the spatter? See it? Isn't it lovely? So if you want, that sort of, not grungy, because it's not really grungy, but that kind of arty, messy, almost like you're a kid and it's a poster and a wet Sharpie or something, or a wet paintbrush. If you want that look and feel, you're going to get that using the Uniposca. Also, I really just love the way it feels, that scratchiness when I'm writing with it. When I'm in a certain mood or I want what I'm writing to have a certain feeling, I'm totally going to go for this pen. And I'm pretty sure, no, okay. So I take that back. It's not water soluble because it isn't, nope, it's not coming off. So I was wrong about that. I wrote that incorrectly. I do usually make this sort of bleed out when it's still damp. So I probably have just forgotten. Again, I am getting old. I'll blame it on aging. When I'm wrong, I just blame it on aging. Painterly, yes, exactly. Okay, so let's see right here. Coloring. We don't talk about art anymore. Michelle. Yeah, there are especially artists who it's often artists who have a bit of imposter syndrome themselves, who do not have a deep confidence in their art, who tend to act that way. Just saying. And when you meet an artist, a professional artist, especially one who is mixed media. Oh, also too, they also tend to be one medium type of artist, so strictly watercolor, and they adhere to the standards of the medium. Anyway, but if you meet a professional artist who is very confident in their work, very confident in where they're coming from, you will not get that response or that attitude at all. They spend an inordinate amount of time playing and trying and experimenting in their own studios and with their own art friends as well. So we are more like them than the more like, again, like I said, those who are less confident. Even if they're great and successful, they can still have confidence issues. Yeah, they are all different, and they all have a really good purpose. Instead of advising people, that certain pens should, because this person was literally almost like, these pens shouldn't even be in your journal. And I'm like, what? Get over yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's not that, I just don't like the bad advice. Like, I just think that it's very limiting advice to tell people that. The same person also made the statement that, I think it was the same person, made the statement that your regular handwriting, so this right here, isn't journal appropriate. And I'm like, what the, excuse me? Hello? And they were also saying that if you're doing anything kind of fancy, that it takes a long time and you've got to be very careful and what? Just stop. Like, some people shouldn't give advice. They just teach but don't give advice. You know what I mean? Especially not for beginners. Like, stop with the beginners. If you want to be like that, say that you're doing advanced. Beginners should never be told anything is not good enough, or that anything else ridiculously has to be like, perfect. I just stop with the perfect shit. Really, like, not for beginners. That's not for beginning. It's not even. Frankly, I don't think that should be for art journaling at all. Go become a painter or whatever. But don't bring that into the art journaling world, because no. It's the thing that I get so annoyed with, like, card makers and scrapbookers. Now, I came from card making, and there were a lot of, like, obnoxious people in the card making world who were like that. And, like, when I went into when I went into altered books, I was like, thank God I'm getting away from these people, because altered books were like, you're messy, you're playing with gesso, you're playing with paint, you're gluing stuff down. Like, I was so happy to, get into that. Now I realize that that's more just mixed media, period. Because you'll still see art. Like, oh my gosh, if I see someone pull out a pair of tweezers, in a video, I will stop watching that video. I am just saying, right here and now, I literally will close the screen, close the window, got to go. Do not whip out a pair of tweezers in front of me for picking up pieces of paper or stickers. What? That's so not me. I mean, it's totally fine if it's for other people. I get it. That's great. Not for me. No. I am not here for that. I came to art journaling to get away from that kind of stuff. No standards, no rules, no you can and can't write in your journal. What? Your handwriting's not good. Talk about giving people a complex. Like, handwriting's not good enough. It's not journal worthy were the words. And I'm like, the fuck is that? Sorry, I know I probably shouldn't cuss, but what? Journal worthy? What? I can't even. Anyway, so if you're creating, it's art, right? No, her neighbor doesn't. She's just perfect immediately. Everything she does is perfect. She doesn't even need a sketchbook. What are you talking about? If your art makes you happier or relaxed, that's what I feel matters. Yeah. If it makes you uptight and it's art journaling, we need to help you. Come and talk to us. If art journaling is something that you get uptight or nervous or worried about, come join my Patreon, okay? We will have fun and laugh and joke and make messes and play, because we're not here to be stressed out. My goodness, what do we need that for? We have the outside world for that. I mean, what is it we were talking about last time? The drones, and now they've admitted it was the government. I told you it was the government. I told y'all. Anyway, oh, she's never seen any of your work. I wouldn't show it to her either. How can a person's handwriting not be right? You know, it made me sad too for that person, because I'm like, you're teaching, you're giving advice, you're charging money for classes, and you don't have the self-confidence to embrace your own imperfection, you know, imperfect writing. Your handwriting is you. I mean, other than like your fingerprints, how much more you can you get than your own handwriting? Love it. Even if it's scritchy scratchy, you know, be like, yeah, I should have been born a doctor. You know what I mean? Embrace it. Love it. Love you. Love what you do. Life is far too short for hating on yourself or your own handwriting or your art journal or anything else. I'm looking up, I have the map of the United States on the wall in here, and it looks like either Madison or Logan has circled the state of Florida and made a big arrow and wrote us. I don't know which one of them did it. I can't tell by the handwriting. My grandchildren, when they come over here, they hide in my studio and in this room. And they used to hide in it when it was my mom's sewing room. So, you know, nothing new there. But they also apparently cut through my art journal and write on my maps. Oh, yes, and I love this one. It's not the map of the United States. I have another one on the other wall. It's a map of the world. And it says very clearly, Gulf of Mexico. I took a picture of it. I was going to post it on Instagram, but then I moved on. I'm never giving up that map now. Oh, okay. I think we have done the whole hour, and I haven't made a thing, but I did a little teaching, so I guess that's good. Yeah. Oh, and I started working on a little, yeah, let me move this. See my mouse, it lights up. Can you tell my grandkids are influencing me, and my keyboard lights up now? Oh my goodness. They're hanging out with me a little too much. Anyway, so why do I not have enough space? Oh, this is a much bigger journal, that's why. Anyway, so I started working on these pages. I'm not really, you know, nothing obviously is glued down. This is a Van Cliff or something ad. They have a ton of them, and they're these awesome little hand-drawn maps. And I freaking love them, so I cut them all out of all the magazines that I had them in. So I have a bunch of them now. Anyway, so yeah, I need to start working in this journal. Let me flip it, because I have it flipped right now so that the page will be pretty much even. But let me undo that. I've only worked in Yeah, let me just stop goofing around and take these off. I've only worked in that much of it. I have all of this to go. So I need to start working in that. Oh, and that was another funny thing. Everybody is doing these videos of like their journal lineup for the year. I did it one year because I was making fun of it, and I don't think anyone caught on. People were just like, "Oh, it's so cool to see what journals you're working in." And I'm like, "That's funny." I think it's hilarious. I've noticed. Beware, like in one of my in the Scrappy journal, I said that we really need to stop being so easily manipulated, especially as adults. Come on, y'all, we're adults. When someone sells art journals, if they have a brand for art journals, and then they tell you, "Oh yes, I have 10 journals going." Of course you do, because you sell art journals. So duh. Same thing for anything else they sell. Like literally, look at the number of stencils I have. Why? Because I sell stencils. But don't, when they frame it as advice, like literally, I've seen 3 different videos now from 3 different artists who all have art journal brands, and all 3 of them talking about how they have 10 or more art journals on the go. And I'm like, do you know how many people over the years, and I've been doing this for more than 20 years now, have complained to me that they have a very difficult time finishing journals? It can be hard. And if you've got 10 or more journals going, in fact, one of the artists, I don't think it was one who sells journals, but one artist who also was bragging about how they have 15 journals going, also has a video series where they're trying to force themselves to finish a journal. So beware when you're taking advice. When someone sells paint, you don't have to go buy all 99,000 palettes that person is selling. You don't have to buy every time they release a new one. This particular industry is incredibly product oriented. So beware the salesman. Understand, there's nothing wrong with having 15 journals. There's nothing wrong with having 99,000 paint palettes. If you need them, if you're using them, if you can finish your journal, if you don't look at all those unfinished journals and get, anxious about it. But if you do, then, take advice on wisely. Listen to people's rules and immediately tell yourself that's their rule, right? It does not need to be necessarily your rule. And try not to be over influenced, especially if you're budgeting, if, like I said, you get anxious about not being able to finish journals, anything like that. Just be careful. And as far as having the number of journals you need to have on the go, here's what I'm going to say. I personally have to have 2 journals on the go. One that I'm working in and one that the paint is drying in. That's it. If I have 2 journals, I'm a happy girl. I do technically have more. I currently have the 2 dilutions I'm working in. The orange journal class, I'm still working in that journal. And a Scrappy journal. And this journal. That's the number of journals I have. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's too much for me. As you may realize, I haven't touched this in how long. I probably should not have allowed myself to move into the new dilutions journals until I finish this. But I guess in a way I feel like this kind of is a specialty sort of journal because it has all this pink paper, and after you can only work on fuchsia pink paper for so long before you need a break from it. That's my excuse anyway. But if I have more journals than that, I'm going to end up with journals that don't get finished, that are half empty. And even more than that, I have found in my practice over time, I don't want my journaling to be spread out too far over a time period. So in other words, I'm really struggling with these dilutions journals right now because they actually cover like almost 2 years. I hate that. Like I want, and so thus, actually all of the 5 journals that I have going right now have 2 years spread across them, across 5 different journals. So when I want to go back and look at my art, which I definitely tend to do, and yes, I teach, so that may be, more prevalent for me than it would be for someone who, like, isn't teaching, and it's just, you're just doing this as an artist. But for me, I do like to go back and look at what was I doing in 2019. And if I've got to look through 5 different journals and it covers 2 years for each one of them, I'm going to feel lost. Like, I'm not going to be able to say, okay, that's what I was doing in that year. I'm going to only be able to say, okay, that's what I was doing in those 2 years. So for me personally, that's how I like it, is to just have a couple. And I am very, very much about finishing my journals. If you don't care about finishing your journals, then it doesn't matter, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, like, take things that you hear from other people with a grain of salt, because it really is an individual process. Art journaling should be, and it is, very personal. Even if it's just the decisions that you make, how you're going to go about your process, what you're going to do. And another thing too, I would say, before I go real quick, is make little rituals for yourself. I mentioned this on my Patreon the other day. Like, I've been doing this for so long now, and I really think rituals come with time. So don't try to, like, make a bunch of rules for yourself right in the beginning. But I have little rituals for things like, let's see if I have any in here, because this is a kind of random journal and doesn't have very many pages done. So I probably don't, actually, because I was also in a mood at the time when I was doing this and wasn't doing any journal writing, as you can see. So yeah, bad journal to choose from. Let me grab a different one really quickly. Yeah. And I have forgotten my point. What was my darn point? Oh my gosh. Aging. I'm getting old. What was I going to say about it? Oh, okay, I remember. Thank goodness. When I am doing writing in my journal, I have all these little rules, okay, that I follow, and I made them up for myself in my own head. And I mostly did it. I think I mostly did it because I was playing around with the concept. Right? Aging. I was playing around with the concept of doing writing in my journal that I really enjoyed, like incorporating it. In other words, like, I didn't want to just be journaling. I wanted to incorporate words, because, as you know, and as many of us do, we like to incorporate quotes. Or for me, sometimes I just like words. Like, I just hear certain words and I'm like, or certain combinations of words that don't even have to have absolutely any meaning. Believe me, there's a lot of crap that people see in my journals and they probably wonder about me, but it's literally just something I heard in an audiobook, and I'm just like, I love those 2 words together. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm going to write that in my journal. I will screenshot where I'm at, like in an audiobook. I will screenshot it so I can see the time to go back to it, because there was a quote or words or something. And it's so funny because every time I go back to one, even if I haven't listened to the book in like 6 months, never fails I know exactly what it was I loved as soon as I hear it. So funny. But anyway, like, I have all these little rules for all of this stuff. And I have to tell you, it gives me a great deal of enjoyment, of fun, when I know that how I'm doing my letters, how I'm making my words, is according to my rules, not according to, it doesn't have any words, not according to the rules that I read in a book or I learned in a tutorial, you know what I mean? So even if you do learn something from someone else, feel free and enjoy changing it to make it you, to make it your own. I don't think there's anything better that you can do for your journaling practice to keep you coming back to it day after day, time after time. None of this is writing. Trying to find writing. No, there isn't any. Why? Because I'm looking for it. That's why. All right, I'm done looking. Anyway, there's nothing that will pull you more back into journaling and keep you journaling and get you to finish pages or finish journals or still be in love with it 20 years later than making it as personal to you as you can. And that, includes obviously, like people do photos of their family, or they journal about their travel. Those are all things that will keep you coming. But if I don't do any of those specific things, but I try to put me into it as much as I can to make it personal, to have rituals, to make it special. I think I was kind of saying this in the last stream, so I'll walk away from that because I'm lecturing now. Plus, I said that we were going to end after an hour. And for those of you who are following over to Patreon, I know I said I would start at 8:15, but it'll probably start at like 8:25 because I am going to go take a fast break. And yeah, I'll see you at 8:20. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Sorry I didn't make any actual art. But that's kind of what these streams are for too, is just to sort of like, hang out, chit chat, and get to listen to me ramble. And stay positive, keep your sense of humor, and watch out for them government drones.